A federal witness says an injury attorney on trial paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars for staging car wrecks in New Orleans.
Gabby Killett is live at federal court, where prosecutors say the years-long fraud scheme drove up insurance rates across the state.
Well, John, Meg, the primary witness on the stand today was an alleged slammer who prosecutors say would intentionally crash into 18-wheelers for big insurance payouts. Injury attorney Jason Giles, Hollywood stuntwoman turned lawyer Vanessa Mota, the firms that they worked for, and alleged co-conspirator Dominique Stolbert, they're all on trial and they stand accused of fraud. Now, this afternoon, so-called slammer Damien LeBeau testified that Giles paid him cash to bring him cases. He said, quote, "It was easier than selling drugs, less risky, less problems for me. It was just easy." Now, prosecutors presented dozens of text messages in court today between LeBeau and Giles. They say that it was proof that Giles knew LeBeau was staging crashes. They also showed checks Giles allegedly sent LeBeau from the King firm and even played conversation recordings. Now, LeBeau also testified he would bring another attorney at the King firm cocaine. Now, cross-examination by the defense just started a few minutes ago when I walked out of court, and Giles' attorney already pointed out that LeBeau hadn't confessed to staging crashes until his second alleged stage wreck. Now, all day in court, there have been moments where LeBeau held back tears. This is really an emotional experience for him. Just a few minutes ago, he said, "I'm not glamorizing, I'm not bragging, that I was just taking care of myself."
It got out of control. That's how slammer Damien LeBeau detailed the alleged staged car crash scheme as he sat on the stand in federal court Thursday morning. LeBeau testified he would slam into commercial vehicles and bring the cases to attorney Jason Giles and others for kickbacks. LeBeau said, quote, "I got involved with it just to make money. It was easier than selling drugs, less risky, less problems for me. It was just easy." LeBeau said he first met Giles about 15 years ago while Giles worked at another law firm. LeBeau testified they made a deal that when Giles went out on his own at the King firm, he would pay LeBeau $1,000 per passenger per crash if he staged wrecks with 18-wheelers. Fox 8 legal analyst Joe Raspani says LeBeau is a strong witness for the prosecution.
He talks about how he was always at Giles's office getting money, bringing in people, so he totally contradicts what the defense is going to be.
And LeBeau's testimony also detailed a personal relationship with Giles. He began to cry on the stand when talking about how he felt Giles betrayed him, saying it was difficult to, quote, "tell the truth." And though he alleged Giles shortchanged him, LeBeau called Giles his, quote, "bro" in court.
Anytime a witness can speak with specificity and have it corroborated by testimony from another witness, which was last week, or documentation, that lends credibility to the witness's testimony.
The trial is expected to last another week and a half. Reporting live from federal court, Gabby Killett, Fox 8 Local First.